Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to start off giving all honor and glory, infinite praise and worship to our power, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostle, elder bishops, great millstone, who will teach well in sound doctrine, and strong shalom to the hopeful elect, the 144,000, the rest of the large multitude of men, women, children. The Lord, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, will have mercy on these perilous times. Perilous meaning dangerous. All right. It's your brother HAQADASH, representing GMS branch here in Cleveland, Lord willing, with a quick and edifying lesson through the spirit of power, Yahawashi, Yahawashi. And his inspiration comes from a lesson that Yahshua did. He was talking about, he had made mention of the wisdom, and it just jumped in my spirit. All right. And you know, and wisdom is very important to understand, because Yahawashi is that wisdom, right? Yahawashi is that wisdom, and he always was. All right, he was before the foundations of the earth. Okay, Yahawashi is in fact, the embodiment, right? He's the embodiment of the mind of Yahawah, right? Yahawashi is the embodiment of the mind of Yahawah. All right, so you can understand. All right. Your children are an extension of you, right? Right. It says train up a child in the way he should go, and when you get older, he won't depart. Right, roughly paraphrasing. Right. So because you teach your child your ways, you're installing him your ways, right? And then when he get older, your ways is what makes him a great, makes him perfect. Your ways is what establishes him. You're the foundation. Okay, so he's an extension of you. All right. Your son is an extension of you. Okay, and it continue your ways so that life can continue. And that's Yahawashi. Yahawashi is an extension of the mind of Yahawah. Okay, and we are an extension of Yahawashi's mind, which ultimately is an extension of Yahawah's mind. You see, because understanding that Yahawashi is wisdom. And I'm gonna get a precept real quick, because Yahawashi said, I'm gonna get this first. This is St. John. Just rolling in the spirit. All right, this is St. John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word. Okay, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Let's read it again. In the beginning was the Word, right? And the Word was with powers. This word here is plural. It's powers, LAIWALAMYAM with the S. All right, and the Word was with the powers, and the Word was a power, right? So Yahawashi is known as what? The only begotten. Okay, he's the only one. He's the only spirit created by the Father himself. Okay, and everything else was created by Yahawashi for Yahawashi, as it states in the book of Colossians, one of my favorite chapters. You understand? So it says, and again, verse 2, the same was in the beginning with the powers, right? All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So you see, it's given the understanding that Yahawashi was the creation that created. He was the creation by Yahawah, which created. Okay, he had the power to do so. He's the mind of Yahawah. He's not going to do nothing that Yahawashi is not going to do nothing that Yahawah don't want to be done, as all of us, right? But Yahawashi said, what? When you have seen me, you have seen the Father. You see, when you have seen me, you have seen the Father. Okay? He said, I and my Father are one. He said, he said, what Yahawashi say? St. John 7:16. Let me get it. Yahawashi answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. So Yahawashi's mind, and his by very essence and very being, is dedicated towards what? Expressing the emotions of Yahawah. Okay, that's why it says he's going to bring the wrath of the Lamb is the wrath of Yahawah, right? The wrath of God, man. You know, the judgment that's coming, Yahawashi is going to execute and play out by the power and will of Yahawah, the Father. Okay, so Yahawashi is the wisdom. He's an extension of the mind of Yahawah, man, and we're an extension of Yahawashi. What's ultimately by default, we are an extension of Yahawah. That's why I'm gonna read this real quick before I continue in St. John 1 to St. John 17. This is the prayer Yahawashi was praying. He says in 6, I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. They kept Yahawashi. All right. They kept the vibration of righteousness, you know, and the name carries a reputation. All right. It says, now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. Right. And this is in the same, and listen to this. In verse 8, St. John 17:8, for I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me. You see? And what did the Lord give? What did Yahawah give Yahawashi? He gave him the wisdom. He gave him the breath. Okay? He was the first creation. He was the first fruit of what this divine or is about. This same divine power that's going to allow us to live forever. You see, to be gods and to manipulate the elements and to, you know, be in power and never have to experience sin and death again. And going off and going against Yahawashi, this is the same power, man. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them. Only that same, an extension of that power can be, can work with that vibration. You see that in science and different things. You can't mix certain things, and you can't have certain things certain ways, from electricity to food to whatever, because it'll cancel each other out. You know, if it's not the same, it won't work. Like even like grafting in, you know. So yeah, man, Yahawah and Yahawashi and the elect are all one, and they have received them and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. See, and then when you jump down, because Yahawashi said he prayed for the elect, not for the world. All right, when you jump down to 17, sanctify them through thy truth, thy word is truth. And then when you jump down, let me see, did I jump up, Salakia 17:11, St. John 17:11, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thy own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. So, and that's that mind, that's the extension. So going back to St. John 1 and 3, all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. Okay? And now, Yahawashi, I forgot what I was about to say. Let's jump down to 14. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as what? Of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Right? And that's exactly what he is. The firstborn, the first fruit. Okay? The first, like I said earlier, through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, the first fruit of immortality, the first fruit of that complete, perfected state. All right? As a servant of Yahweh that we're gonna be finally complete. And then so when you go to Proverbs 8, no, before I get Proverbs 8, this is 1 Corinthians 1 and 30. It says, but of him are ye in Hamashiach Yahawashi, who of Yahawah is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption. Yahawashi is made unto us these things. So when you have him, you're walking in the mind of Yahawah. He said, keep my ways and do them. Yahawashi is the embodiment of the word, right? He's the Ark of the Covenant, right? When the Ark of the Covenant had the ten commandments, it had the manna, it has Aaron's rod that budded, right? Representing what? The first fruit, okay? An extension of to all tribes being kings and priests, right? And it's going to, but all of that was inside of the Ark of the Covenant, and Yahawashi represents the Ark of the Covenant, right? Same thing when the apostles saw the transfiguration. They said when they looked up, they said they saw none but Yahawashi only. Saw Moses, saw Elijah representing Moses representing what? The law, and Elijah representing the prophets. Okay, and that just that whole thing, man, is Yahawashi is the mind. You see, so when you it says when you keep the ways of Yahawah, when you keep the ways of Yahawah, right? You're keeping it by what? Embodying Yahawashi. Because he is that wisdom. He was with the Father from the very beginning. All right. When you go to Proverbs 8 and 22, it says, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. And this is Solomon talking. And that's who Yahawashi, King Solomon is Yahawashi in the reincarnation, if you can receive it. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning or ever the earth was. Right? So he said, I was set up from the everlasting. He said, from the beginning or ever the earth was, before there were any elements that we know of, right? He was. That's why he said, I am the beginning and the end. That's where that statement comes from. He said, I'm the Aleph and a Tha. All right, he's the first and the last. He is. Yeah, that's not talking about Yahawah. Yahawah has no beginning or end. As the scriptures say, he's immortal. He's omnipotent. So he don't have a start or end. Yahawashi he is the first and he's the end. He said he's the first man. He's the first and he's the last man, the first man earthly and the last man spiritual. Right? He's the first and the last. The first Adam and the last Adam. Okay? And only he can issue in the ways of life and death. Ain't that something? Through death, we died through Adam and we lived through Hamashiach Yahawashi. Only Yahawashi is the power, the only power strong enough to be able to have that position, to be able to issue in life and death into the earth, man. And that's power, man. And that's a connection with Yahawah, because that's Yahawah. Yahawah is the judge, as the scriptures say. And he issues out the ways of life and death. You see? Everything comes through him. He said, I kill, I heal, I make alive. You know, it is Yahawah who doeth these things, roughly paraphrasing. Right? Many scriptures on how Yahawah take out things, but who's the one he's sending to issue out his power and judgment? Yahawashi. He's the death angel. He's the mighty angel. So showing you that Yahawashi he said, I have the keys to heaven and hell, or hell. What do you say in Revelations 1? I don't want to butcher it. Revelations 1 and damn, bear with me. Man, could never. I always skim over it. This is Revelations 1 and 18. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. I'm mine and have the keys of hell and of death. You see? So yeah, man. Yahawashi, he said, I've been given this authority. No, I'm mixing scriptures. But he was talking to the when he was brought on trial. He said he was telling, I think, Pilate or the wicked scribes and Pharisees, can't remember. He was telling them, you know, you only given that authority, but by Yahawah. You see, only the authority comes from Yahawah, man. This is jumping up to verse 8, Revelations 1 and 8. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, said the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty. So when you go back to Proverbs 8, It says, continuing 23 again. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was, when there was no depths. I was brought forth when there was no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth, while as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest parts of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep. Right, and you keep reading. It talks about, he said, again, let's bring back 27. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. You see, Yahawashi has always been there. He's always been there, man. Cause he's the first creation of Holy Spirits, right? He's an extension of Yahawah's mind. He's the only thing created by Yahawah. The only one. So showing you how special it is when you operate in that in Yahawashi, that means you're operating in the only line of only holy line of vibrations, if that makes sense. You're operating on that the whole time. Like Yahawashi is the first thing created from Yahawah. And when you operate in that, you're operating in the power and the vibration that was from the beginning of time, which always was. That's very, very heavy, bro. You know, that's why it's so special to be the first fruit or the elect. You are always tied with the beginning point, which has no start or end. And it's a deep concept to grasp, but it's a very special one indeed. I'm gonna close with the one Elder Yahawah put out. I can't remember if it was in Luke. Let me see. Yahawashi said, he said, put me back in that first estate. Let me see. I believe the elder put this out. Hold on. I know he mentioned about being on the right hand. Let me see. When I was with you, I forgot how I go exactly. Damn. Man, 1 second. Damn, Salakia. I can't find what I'm looking for. I thought Yahawashi said something along the lines of, when he was talking about, being back in that first state when being back next to the Father, because that's where he was always at. I'm gonna close with this though. This is 1 John 1:1. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled of the word of life. For the life was manifested, and we have seen it, and bear witness, and shew unto you that eternal life, which was with the Father, and was manifested unto us. That which we have seen and heard declare we unto you, that ye also may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Yahawashi Mashiach. And these things write we unto you, that your joy may be full. So, amen, there you have it. Yahawashi is from the beginning. We witnessed it. St. John said it in the book of John, chapter 1. Came to bear witness. He's not that light, but came to bear witness of that light. We looked upon it, ate of it, drank of it, kissed it, because it was manifested unto us, man, and we was a witness unto it being true, you see? And which makes us one with the Father. So Lord willing us edifying, I'd like to give all honor, glory, for praise and worship to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. That honor to our apostle, the bishop of the great millstone, peace, light, taste, it all for light. Till next time, shalom.